talked about Trump wanting to be a dictator on day one, and here we are. This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Elon Musk responded on X saying the corrupt politicians protesting outside the USAID building are the ones getting money from USAID. That's why they're there. They want your stolen tax dollars. Come on in, Ben Domenech. Why are Democrats keen on saving this agency?
Well, Stuart, the thing that is the problem with USAID, and this has been true for decades now, is that they don't like the United States part of USAID. This is a point that Marco Rubio made eloquently just yesterday. And this is something that has always been a very frustrating aspect of the way that they behave. They throw money in all these different directions overseas toward projects that would never get approved if they actually had to go through a traditional congressional review process. And the idea that we are in a constitutional crisis over something like this is absolutely laughable. USAID was created, obviously, by an executive order by President Kennedy back in the day. This is something that, should absolutely be folded into and part of the tools used underneath the Department of State.
Welcome to Male Reality Lessons, where topics are reviewed and discussed as iron sharpens iron. On Male Reality Lessons today, we're going to talk about how the new administration is really shaking up the DC old guard. Now, the campaign promises that Donald Trump moved and won the electoral vote as well as the popular vote on, he is hitting the ground running. And to clean up some of the bureaucracy and trim the fat, he's putting people in place who are trying to do deep dive audits on a lot of this laborious spending and try to identify where the American taxpayer dollars is just being given away without any accountability. Now, you have these old, decrepit politicians now claiming that there is some kind of conspiracy and he is some kind of tyrant trying to take over the American populace and make money off of it, are still out here crying foul. But the old adage says only a hit dog hollers. And what is the problem with doing an audit? Well, let's take a look at what some of the items pertaining to the entity known as USAID has been spending your hard-earned money on.
Now let me ask you something, Mr. President. How are you going to review the spending without reviewing the spending? How are you going to audit the spending by an agency without auditing the agency? That's what I mean when I say common sense is illegal in Washington, D.C. That's what Mr. Musk is doing. He's put together a crackerjack team, and they're going through everybody's spending line by line, item by item. And my Democratic colleagues are very, very, very upset. And they've been very eloquent. They've talked about the process, and President Trump's executive order supposedly violates the Constitution. And they've accused Mr. Musk of having conflicts of interest. And so I've heard people say he's sitting over there with a notepad, copying down everybody's Social Security number, and he's going to go use it to make money. I mean, people in this town, not just my Democratic colleagues, they're really upset. They've never had anybody question their spending. But that's what Mr. Musk is doing. But you know, I've listened This has been going on for a week. People have been screaming like they're part of a prison riot. Oh my God, look at what Musk is doing. He's looking at the spending. And I've listened to people talk about the process and debate whether it's constitutional and discuss how many lawyers can dance on the head of a pin. But you know what? I haven't heard one single person who's upset with President Trump or Mr. Musk talk about what he's found.
If you're enjoying the video, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Male Reality Lessons.
They don't want to talk about the spending porn, the waste of taxpayer money that he's found.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
I mean, that's the point of all this. I tell you who is interested. The American people. The people in America who get up every day and go to work and obey the law and pay their taxes and try to educate their kids and try to do the right thing by their kids and try to save a little money for retirement and have had to live through 20% inflation under President Biden. They understand what Musk is doing. They understand spending porn and wasting taxpayer money. Now, Mr. Musk started with the USAID. That handles a lot of foreign aid for America. American people are very generous. In our country, you know, when you're homeless, we'll house you. When you're hungry, we'll feed you. In our country, when you're too poor to be sick, we'll pay for your doctor. And we send a lot of money overseas to help our world's neighbors. And the USAID is in charge, in large part, of that. But I'll tell you what Mr. Musk discovered. I find it fascinating. He discovered that the American taxpayers are giving money to Afghanistan.
Huh?
He found that we are giving money to Yemen. He found that we are giving money to Syria. I didn't know that. Some of our foreign aid is going to Yemen, Afghanistan, Syria. He found that the USAID has 10,000 people. 10,000 people, employees. And every year they give away $40 billion.
Huh?
Mr. Musk also found, and I'm not saying that all of this money is wasteful. I'm not. Some of this money, I'm sure, does some good. That's why Secretary Rubio is going to revamp the department to separate the good from the bad. But this is the kind of stuff Mr. Musk found. He found that the USAID gave money to support electric vehicles in Vietnam. Our money, taxpayer money. He found that USAID gave money to a transgender clinic in India. I didn't know that. I bet you the American people didn't know that. He found that the USAID gave $1.5 million to a Serbian LGBTQ group called Grupa Outrage. I probably mispronounced that. My apologies. Anyway, they got $1.5 million to, quote, advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities. What else did Mr. Musk found that my colleagues don't want to talk about? Well, he reviewed a study and then went and checked it. The study was done by the Middle East Forum. They found that USAID spent $164 million to support radical organizations around the world. We're not talking Cub Scout troops here. We're talking about radical organizations around the world. They gave $122 million of that to groups aligned with foreign terrorist organizations. Our taxpayer money. According to this report and Mr. Musk, the USAID has given millions of dollars to, quote, organizations in Gaza controlled by Hamas. Why aren't my colleagues talking about that? Recipients of the money, they found, have, quote, called for their lands to be cleansed from the impurity of Jews. That's what we're giving foreign aid to. What else? I'm not going to spend my whole time talking about this, but nobody else is talking about it. They're just talking about the process and Mr. Musk, and he's a mean guy, and he shouldn't be looking at our spending. Well, he is. And I kind of find what he's found out interesting. He found that we gave $2 million, USAID did, for sex changes in Guatemala. He found that we gave $20 million to produce a new Sesame Street show in Iraq.
What?
He found that we gave $4.5 million of taxpayer money to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Yeah, I heard it.
He found that we gave $10 million, USAID did, of meals to an Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group called the Nusra Front. Mr. Musk found that we gave $7.9 million of taxpayer money to a project that would teach Sri Lankan journalists to avoid binary gendered language. The USAID took $8 million and gave it to a bunch of journalists in Sri Lanka to teach them how to avoid binary gendered language. I don't know what the hell binary gendered language is.
That's a damn shame.
Well, based on that commentary, that goes to show you an audit is truly needed. And action severely needs to be happening ASAP. But I want to hear from you in the comments section. Give me your thoughts and opinions on this topic as well as any other topic here on Male Reality Lessons. As always, I want to thank you for watching. Smash that like button and take an opportunity to watch some other videos related to this topic as well as others here on the channel. And have a good day.